So Saturday, June 21st, it's the summer solstice, longest day of the year. It's also the end of Pollinator Week. And so we will be having our second annual festival that day. We have guest speakers, we have nature walks and tours, we have kid activities. So we will have a number of speakers. We'll have our keynote will be Dr. Michael Pyle, the founder of the Xerces Society and author of over 30 books, will be our keynote. You, Andoni, will also
I'm
be
speaking
present.
there? Are you
You are
crazy?
speaking. Yeah, it's great. It's great. We're so excited to have you and to learn about all the things that are happening with the bee atlases and all of the important findings that are happening.
From the Oregon State University Extension Service, this is PolliNation, a podcast that tells the stories of researchers, land managers, and people like you who are making bold strides to improve the health of pollinators. I'm your host, Dr. Adoni Melathopoulos, Associate Professor of Pollinator Health in the Department of Horticulture. It's festival season, the time we get to go out with our families and our friends in the sunshine and celebrate summer. Now, if you're in the Portland or Vancouver, Washington area this Saturday, you listen to this show, your festival plan should include the event being organized by my next guest. Kyle Roslund is the founder of the Vancouver Bee Project, which has been doing amazing work just north of the state line in Vancouver, Washington. But this Saturday, June 21st, they're organizing the second ever Vancouver Pollinator Festival. It's going to be an incredible event which includes tours, hands-on activities, but also a number of speakers, including a keynote, Dr. Michael Pyle, a renowned lepidopterist and the founder of the Xerces Society. The festival starts at 9 a.m. at Marshall Park in Vancouver, and it's free. I hope to see all of you there, and so without further ado, let's head over the bridge to Vancouver this week on PolliNation. Welcome to PolliNation, Kyle.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Andoni.
It's really nice to finally catch up with you. I've been so impressed with all the activity in Vancouver, Washington, and we are heading into the second annual Pollinator Festival in Vancouver, Washington. Tell us about what the inspiration for, I imagine is a huge undertaking. What was the inspiration for kind of getting a Pollinator Festival going in Vancouver?
Sure, thanks. Yes. So stepping back a little bit, in 2023, Clark Public Utilities put on a pollinator festival in Clark County, and it was a really excellent event, really well attended. And Vancouver Bee Project had wanted to continue that event. And so in 2024, we heard that there wouldn't be a pollinator festival. Clark Public Utilities wasn't going to put one on. And so we really took the charge to make that happen in 2025. And some things kind of came together this year in order to make that all possible. So Vancouver became a bee city a few months ago, and we're really using this festival as a means to celebrate that. And we have a really engaged board, and everybody is really just super excited about pollinators. And we've really been trying to create this buzz in Vancouver about pollinator friendly practices and getting public education out to folks about all kinds of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, let's come back around to talk about the Vancouver Bee Project towards the end of the interview. But what I wanted to ask you right now was the festival itself. So what is in store for this festival? What can people expect? Let's start there.
Sure. So Saturday, June 21st, it's the summer solstice, longest day of the year. It's also the end of Pollinator Week. And so we will be having our second annual festival that day. We have guest speakers, we have nature walks and tours, we have kid activities. So we will have a number of speakers. We'll have our keynote will be Dr. Michael Pyle, the founder of the Xerces Society and author of over 30 books, will be our keynote. You, Andoni, will also be
I'm speaking
present.
there? Are you crazy?
You are speaking. Yeah, it's great. It's great. We're so excited to have you and to learn about all the things that are happening with the bee atlases and all of the important findings that are happening. So we'll also have a local pollinator. He wouldn't call himself an expert, but I would. Michael Lachlan He works at Clark Public Utilities. He's been a huge advocate for us and a really good friend of our organization. And he will be speaking about some of the great habitat work that is being done in the area. And then we also have speaker Josephine Woolington. She's a local speaker, local author out of Portland, has a really lovely book called Where We Call Home. I think she maybe even interviewed you for part of that book. And so she will be speaking about kind of the plight of pollinators and looking ahead to positive things. So really excited for that. We also have some garden tours. So we have some local experts talking about some different habitats that have been installed in the area. And what's nice is we have a central festival site, but right around that festival site, we have a lot of opportunities to show the public a lot of really great things. So Clark College is right across the street from the festival site, and they have been a bee campus for a few years now. And they have a bunch of meadows that they have installed, I think almost 3 acres of meadow space. And
Wow.
so we'll do a bee walk and talk at one of those meadows. And we have a local landscape architect, Shane Tessner Kleiner, who is really the forefront of, in our area at least, of the green schoolyard movement. And so at Vita Elementary, they have a green schoolyard that they've installed. A lot of native plants. They also have some raised garden beds and a lot of cool things. So she'll be giving a tour of that space. Clark Public Utilities is also right across the street from the festival site, and they have some really nice pollinator gardens. I think the garden at that site is a butterfly garden. It's a really lovely garden. And so, the whole idea is to get the public out, show them some inspiration, get some ideas, and maybe take those ideas home and try and implement them on their own. So a lot of good tours. We'll have some kid activities. We also have, I think, over 40 vendors who will be there. So partners from across the state and across Clark County who will be there to provide, education and other things, some folks selling some really nice products. So we'll have a lot of vendors, and yeah, it's going to be a great day. We'll have a bookseller. So if you want to get your book signed, Dr. Pyle will be there to sign books. Josephine Willington will be there to sign books. You can purchase books on site. We'll have some food, we'll have music. It should be a really fun event. So pollinatorfestival.org is the website if you want to go check out the schedule, see when the speakers are speaking, and just learn more about the event.
It is really wonderful. Just the way that you described it, where there's going to be, if you wanted to sit down and think and have a listen to some lectures, you can do that. But there's going to be actually, I know a lot of people are just, have tried to do pollinator habitat on their property and have gotten, things haven't worked out quite that well, or are thinking about it. And here's a great opportunity to talk one-on-one with experts who've done this in the past and to actually see what it could look like. I mean, I think that is a great opportunity for anybody in the Vancouver and Portland area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right. We engage with folks all the time who talk about their successes and their failures and everything in between. And I know folks are, with the backyard habitat movement and all of those things that are happening now, there's a lot of folks trying these things. And we're always looking for ways to get that education out into the world and figure out ways to get folks pollinator plants at discounted or free pricing as well. So that's always good.
Now, I want to turn to the Vancouver Bee Project, and you did mention Michael O'Loughlin, and I know Michael has been a real force on both sides of the border, both in Washington and here in Oregon. His contributions to getting organizations up and running and advising them has been critical. But let's turn our attention to Vancouver. Now, we know Washington has really stepped on the gas pedal when it comes to pollinator activity at the state level, but also, as the example here at the community level. Tell us a little bit about the Vancouver Bee Project's mission and some of the activities it has in addition to hosting the festival.
Absolutely. So we have been around for about 4 years, Vancouver Bee Project, and we were really founded with this idea that it felt like there was a void in this part of the world. People weren't talking about pollinators. They weren't making good decisions when it comes to pollinators. And I was one of those people who sat around for a long time and said, why isn't anybody doing this? Somebody should be doing this. And early on in the pandemic, me and a group of friends got together and started this organization, really with the idea that we want to provide education, we want to do pollinator advocacy, and we want to help people create more habitat. So those are kind of the three things that we do, and all of our things that we do kind of fall under one of those three pillars. The education stuff has been a lot of fun. We go into schools, we do public outreach events, we table, we do all those things, and we engage, tens of thousands of people per year right now. It's really a lot of fun.
Wow.
We go to a lot of events, a lot of
Incredible.
events. Yeah. As far as the advocacy goes, we really started off with, we want to make Vancouver a bee city USA. We want to educate people on, pesticide and herbicide problems and ways to reduce those things. We want to help people put in more habitat, figure out how to do that. We want to educate. We want to get that awareness out there. And so it took us about 4 years to do that, but we just here in the last few months were able to make Vancouver a bee city USA. The city has been a wonderful partner in that they really are doing a lot of work to create more habitat and be mindful of their practices, and trying to do the right thing and just create more habitat. And there are a bunch of wonderful examples of that around the city. The city has this program called Nature Spaces, and they go into parks and public spaces and plant native plants and create those habitat sites. And there are places that 5 years ago had nothing happening with them as far as pollinators are concerned, and now they really are alive with pollinator activity. There's one park that I like to go to where there are there's a bee aggregation of nest sites there that was not there a few years ago. And because they've created that habitat, there are now bees nesting actively in those parks and public spaces, and it is awesome to see. As far as habitat creation goes, we do a lot of different things. We host a native plant and seed library in the fall to encourage folks to trade seeds, trade plants, and get more plants out into the community, more free, truly native to this area wildflower seeds out into the community. And that has been a really nice way to get more folks engaged. A lot of people are interested in this. A lot of people collect seeds. A lot of people have extra plants. We were able to get some funding to provide a lot of plants out into the community. And I forget exactly how many it was, but it was thousands of free plants that we gave out last fall, and we anticipate continuing that program as well. So the festival is one part of this. That's a really nice way to celebrate and create those opportunities for folks to learn more and see more things that they can do. But we are doing this year round. We're doing a lot of different events. We do the outreach events. We're trying to get people to plant more habitat. We do a lot of workshops on meadowscaping, which is a lot of fun. A lot of people like meadows. I personally really love meadows. I really think they're a good place to connect with nature and see a lot of really cool things. So we have a couple of demonstration meadows around the county that we've installed and are continuing that work into the future. So a lot of exciting stuff is happening, and there's a lot of other cool people doing stuff here too. We weren't the first ones to do these things, but when we came into this and started talking to people and getting to know people, there were people doing things, but they weren't necessarily communicating with each other. And so I feel like we were really able to help bridge that gap and bring people together and really create a force around pollinators and positive things that we can do for them.
Isn't that always the case? I was thinking about some of the past interviews we've had on the other side of the Columbia with the Pollinator Pathway Initiative. And it really does, sometimes there's, soil and water conservation districts are doing things and municipal government is doing things. But when there is a kind of a community root, it really does allow the full potential of those activities to blossom. It really, synergizes everything. And this is such a great example of that.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And I think it was important for us to show the city and the county and other folks that this is important to people, and people needed that way to communicate that. And so I think we've been able to help provide that, because it's one thing to have individuals, coming to council meetings and stating, they want people to do things, or they want the city to make good choices when it comes to practices. But it's nice to have that kind of, yes, synergized force that is able to push those things forward. And that's really what we see that we've been able to do here.
Okay. Saturday, June 21st, people are to show up at 9 a.m. or anytime, but until 3 p.m. Marshall Park in Vancouver, Washington. I guess you can go to the Vancouver Bee Project to get the information on the festival. Is there anything else anybody needs to know to have a good festival experience? Bring a hat.
Bring a hat. It probably will be a warm day. Bring a bottle of water. We'll have some food vendors there. We will have water stations. There, the event is spread out. There's a lot of things to see. It's a relatively small area. Everything is within a 10-minute walk of the main festival site. But I would say look at the schedule. If there's something specific you want to see, we do have some timed events that are going to happen at a very specific time in a very specific place. There's maps. and parking instructions, directions on the website, pollinatorfestival.org. But if you want to plan your trip, take a look at those schedules and decide if there's anything specific you want to see. And of course, we'll have vendors and food and all of those things happening throughout the event. We're also going to have an event-long BioBlitz to cap off the
Oh,
Pollinator
cool.
Festival. So if you're into BioBlitzes and you like using iNaturalist, come check that out. It's always a lot of fun to be a part of a BioBlitz. So.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the talks and I'll participating in the activities. Well, I guess we'll see you there, and hopefully many of you who are listening today on June 21st. Thanks so much for joining us today, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks, Andoni.
Thank you so much for listening. Show notes with links from each episode are available at the website pollinationpodcast.oregonstate.edu. I also love hearing from you, and there's a form at the website where you can pop in and say hello and give me feedback. If you want to support the show, remember to leave a rating on iTunes, Spotify, or whatever podcast mothership you use. And finally, if you have the means and you want to help support my lab's effort to document bee biodiversity in Oregon, visit OregonBeeAtlas.org and follow down to the donate button where you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Jerry and Judith Paul Native Pollinator Endowment. Every little bit helps. See you next episode.